Wow, you're bright.
Hang on. This thing is stupid. I've never been able to get it to stop doing this. No, I don't want you to automate fucking exposure. There, goddamn. Why? I can't remember if it'll keep doing this as long as I leave the thing open, so let's do that. Then advanced. Okay. I'm leaving the controls open so I can't be like, oh, go back the way it was. Oh. I'm guessing Mish is busy.
I'm guessing.
Well, okay, then go on. Ooh. Pop out. Screen. Go. I can make it work when I try, goddammit.
Hello and welcome to the super happy fun Jabbertron Tea Party podcast with Kiki, Cupcake, and Miss. Welcome and enjoy the show, my fellow internet beings.
Oh, there she is.
There's Mish.
Sorry.
Hi, Mish.
Thanks.
Oh, I see a ceiling. There we go.
One second.
Solved.
1 second.
Okay, I have it right here.
Motherfucker. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez.
How do you spell the street name? Oh, he was about to start. No, how do you spell the street? That's apartment 3. No, how do you spell the fucking street name?
Oh my.
Am I fucking
Don't know.
Oh, punch you in the fucking face. Okay.
It's,
I'm done.
Woo.
it's okay.
Woo.
Deep breaths.
Anyways, let me look at these little. These are just. These do not have a microphone on them. Okay. So, I'm going to take a small trip. Because I need to walk away from the computer screen for a second. Hi, what are you doing, sausage?
Oh no, it's the sausage.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird to hear you guys like you're like right next to me. Fancy headphones.
Oh.
High resolution.
Okay.
So now instead of sounding like you're across the room, you sound like you're sitting like
Oh, awesome. All right.
Oh.
Coffee.
This might help put into perspective the size difference. I don't know if I can get it to show, but like
Damn, those are big.
Okay, I didn't realize these were not charged all the way. Okay. All right.
I gotta get them back on again. So it goes this way and then this way.
Let's see your Bluetooth.
Yeah, these are legit headphones for serious audiophiles.
Okay.
So I actually have the earbuds and the Bluetooth ones.
Okay.
So please let me know if this starts being crappy. Hopefully it's not like last month where I was like, what the fuck? I can't understand like every other word that's coming out of my goddamn mouth. Is like, what the?
Right.
Come on. Anyways.
Hello.
Patience. Did not realize that these headphones were at like 36% charge, so hopefully they stay. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, anyways, I like the headdress.
Thank you.
Right.
Is that unicorn, Miss Kiki?
Yes. It's a Christmas unicorn.
Ooh.
I'm fancy.
That was fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I had some reindeer antlers, but they light up in a pattern, and I didn't want to like have to add a seizure warning.
Right.
Makes sense. Also, my work, they're like, oh, here's a workaround for some of the audio issues we've been having. Let's use Google Voice. And then we sit here going, I'm having audio issues. I'm not hearing anything. Google Voice is dropping in the middle of my phone call.
Oh boy.
And it's like, yeah, it worked for like 5 minutes, and then it's not working. Sorry. Not sorry. This.
Your job sounds like a Kafka-esque nightmare.
It is.
Occasionally it is.
Fucking nightmare. So, also, even because I kind of see where my one coworker was coming from. He's like, I went in there like 14 months ago and saw the writing on the wall, so we grabbed all of this stuff. But, like last week or the week before, they're like, yeah, we're combining the Akron call center with the Green call center. And Akron is going bye-bye. And I was like, I kind of understand, because this past summer I went in to the office because they were doing our roof. And I saw, let's see here, 1, 2, 4 people. And one of those people was the cleaning dude. So it's kind of like, they haven't let us know, like, yeah, you're going back into the office. So it was kind of like, yeah, writing on the wall that they were not going to combine or something like that. I had to go in and get all of my stuff, so now I have all my work stuff, my binders, my papers, my record name tag, my 5-year name tag, because apparently they couldn't put them all together like they did for some other folks. And my employee of my Hall of Fame little statuette thingy, that the base is quite heavy, and you throw this at someone's head and you'll take a chunk of it. But you like I said, I don't know if you can hear it. Pretty heavy. So now that's all on one side of my computer. Now I have 2 binders. Let's see here. 2 binders, and then one of those paper holder thingies. I'm not really being very descriptive right now. But here, hold on. So these things.
Ooh,
so all these papers, and then and these. So the papers from here, they just held up, and so I'm not going to show my name tag. So name tag, and then I'm not going to show this because it shows my real name, but this is the front and the back. So this thing, pretty hefty. But, of course, this is one of the things I use to hold stuff. It's a little baseball. So years ago, when Hubby and I were, before we were married, to my town's home days, or local fair thingy, doohickey.
Right.
And it was baseball. So one of the things they were doing was ice cream sundaes in those helmets.
Oh, nice.
So that's one of the things that we got one to share. We got one big enough to share, and then we brought that home. because I don't want people reading lips, and just on the off chance that I get a phone call,
Yeah.
knock on wood, it's been pretty slow today, which has been very nice.
Right.
Yay. I'm not sick anymore. I got the whole... It's after vacation, so I'm going to be sick. Cold shit. I was like, that's no fun. But, thank you for coming to USGA. This is Julianne. How can I help you, sir?
Well, there goes
And
Mish.
she's gone.
Oh well.
So how about them sports ball teams? They're the best.
I mean, the one I root for is doing okay.
Who do you root for?
The Niners. This is California.
Well, I don't know. We have like a guy at work who's into like the Steelers, and I'm like, it's freaking like Midwest. I'm like, why the hell are you rooting for the Steelers?
Weird.
Because
We had a guy who was into the Eagles. One of my receiving managers is a New York Giants fan.
that's random. So someone you work with roots for the Steelers?
He doesn't work there anymore, but one of the guys that used to work with us, or I'm not Steelers, Raiders. I was like,
Okay.
what? Why are you a Raiders fan? That's like fucking like, I was like, that's like Los Angeles or some shit. Like,
I think the Raiders were Vegas.
well, they didn't used to be Vegas.
No, they're Vegas now, but
Okay. I don't know.
think
I
the
just know that
Rams moved in. The Raiders went to Vegas.
yeah, I noticed that in the one like gift shop where you can buy, all the sorts of touristy stuff.
Right.
It's a bunch of Raider stuff that you can buy. So it's when we were in Vegas. So, although my cold may have also been from the fact that I didn't realize Santa Monica would be so cold. And by the time my brother texted me and was like, "Hey, it might be cold. You might want to take a jacket," I was already on my way there. I was like, "Whoops." So wandering around in shorts, flip flops, and a t-shirt, and 60-degree weather, I'm like,
Right.
I can kind of deal with this, but I prefer like a sweatshirt or something.
60s, that's bikini weather. The fuck have you been?
Hey, that's I know, right? I even had my bathing suit and everything because the last time I was in Santa Monica, I got like the whole sunburned face shake going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I'll get to go in the ocean. And then I'm like, it's cold as fuck. I'm just putting my feet in.
It's
I need to go
47
to the
today
water.
in Minnesota, and I'm in shock, speaking of warm weather. Like, it's December the goddamn 2nd, and it's 47 today.
It's gonna be like 60 something here.
We usually have snow right now. Because frozen north.
Of course.
I mean, it's finally cold enough that I can wear my hoodie indoors, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm wearing shorts.
I'm not shocked.
I just wanted the sweater for the aesthetic.
For the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Or is it just cold here?
It's nice here. I wish it would rain, but it's nice.
You can have our snow.
Thank you.
I think at this point, California would take the snow and just deal with it.
I mean, we do have places where it snows, and they want snow, so...
I'm at, like, the warm parts of California.
Oh, well, yeah, they would just deal with it. Like, who cares? Water from sky, yay.
Right.
So how about that anime?
So, it's... I forget, I sent you the name, because I can't even pronounce it, but it's like, basically it translates into President, Let's Go Battle. And it's a show about a guy running a adventuring company in a fantasy world. But it's like if you smashed present day Japan with a fantasy world. So like they have ferries and trolleys and you know what I'm saying? Like it's like very modern, but there's also magic. And the aesthetic is like not major city, but a big city. Like a big like it's the setting is like a big like medieval style like classic like think like Italian fishing village for aesthetic. Like it's modern day, but the homes are all very old, or maybe like England, like parts of England where like there's been habitation, or the mainland Europe. There's been habitation for a couple thousand years, and the houses go back that far. Kind of, or not that couple thousand, but you know what I'm saying? Like medieval homes, basically making it to modern day. But they have like electricity and computers, and but I mean, like they still they have shops, but they also have like the marketplace. So it's a really weird dichotomy. And basically, the best way I can describe it is it's a fun slice of life fantasy office show. Because it relies more on the premise of him and his team running the business and less on like the actual like they go to the dungeons and they fight, but the dungeons are their source of income. Like at the end of all these dungeons there's this crystal that is a commodity used for like energy and magic and blah blah blah, and dungeons are like the dungeons appear because of the setting. And like the setting is there's this giant dimensional door in the center of like it's so hard to explain because like it's what I found out is it was based off of an online game that only lasted a year and then went offline.
What is this?
I just watched an anime called, it's got this weird Japanese name, but it basically translates into President, Let's Go Battle! And it's about a guy running an adventuring company, think like D&D adventuring company, but it's set in the fantasy, it's a fantasy setting, like think like big medieval fantasy town. But there's modern technology, there's computers, electricity, like they take a ferry, there's like, because the whole deal is that the town is set in this big bay, and the center of the bay is this giant like glowing gateway. It's like a big column of light, and there's something on the other side of the gateway, but they never get there. Like that's, I think, was supposed to be the premise of season 2, but they got one season and that was it. And the only reason I even bought it was the premise was guy running an adventuring company in a fantasy setting. Not they're adventurers, not like you play D&D or adventurers, but like it's a company that does the adventuring. Like it's like adventurers for hire, but more like corporatized adventurers for hire. Like there are other
touristy.
What's up?
Is it like touristy, or is it just like
it's like let's say you have a mining company, but you have competitors who are also mining companies. You're all trying to get the same thing, the same resource.
Oh, okay.
So there's competing companies that have adventurers that go to these dungeons, and the whole concept is they go to the dungeons, and the dungeons appear like they're gateways, basically, and different gateways have different dungeons, like basically instances. It's pretty like when you realize it's based off a game, you realize they're basically adapting game mechanics. Because like they have instances and boss monsters and blah blah blah. But there's this resource that is buried at the deepest part of every dungeon that they can take back and basically trade on the market for money, because it's used for all kinds of things. Like I was saying, like energy. They use it to make energy. They produce electricity. It's used as a fuel source. It's used for magic. It's used for all kinds of like medical properties. It's like a miracle item. But the whole deal is like the guy building this, like it was his dad's company. His dad went under the big gate and then like left the company in his care and said like, do what you can. And he like, it's about him like being the company president and like trying to make the company flourish.
and like slowly taking on more employees, and like it's like a slice of life, but it's like office fantasy. Like the setting is like a lot, like half the show is in their office or their building. The other half is in random dungeons, like the dungeons is per episode they're going to do. And so there's like this dichotomy of fantasy, adventure, battle, but then also like office drama, basically.
Nice.
It reminds me a lot of you combined. There's an anime called New Game about game developers like in an office, or like servant service, like it's that, but like adapted to a fantasy world in which their business is running the dungeon. Like we're kind of like, I'm kind of doing this in the tabletop game I play on Thursdays, which I played tonight, where we're an adventuring company. Like we're not wandering the world. We're taking on people's jobs. Like they're like, something strange is happening up at the old castle. Go take a look at it. And like, you know, we're basically like mercenaries. It's a lot like that, where it's like a new dungeon has appeared. Go check it out.
Awesome. I'm reminded of two different things now. So I don't know if you guys. Thank you for calling me.
And she's gone.
Okay. No, that sounds interesting. It's a shame.
It's actually really cute. Yeah, no, I would have liked to see it get more. It was cute. It wasn't like, it wasn't like, edge of your seat amazing or anything, but it was good. It was solid. It's cute, like cute character design. Like they're like fantasy clothing design, like very JRPG, but also like it's mixed with like a lot of like office stuff, so like ties and skirts and like like the office workers in Japan. So that made me laugh. And like when they finally had like made enough money and they started upgrading their gear, like they got fancier office attire basically. Like the guy goes from like a basic like red blazer and like a white dress shirt to like a fancy like white blazer with like gold trim and shit because he's the company president.
Okay. Is that all you've been watching lately?
Oh, then I rewatched Porco Rosso, but that's as far as I've gotten. Well, I had to try these out, and that was the first thing I did. Is I threw in Porco Rosso because I haven't watched it forever. My life's been pretty well consumed by the journey up the mountain of audio nirvana.
Okay. You and your fancy equipment?
Well, excuse me, princess. I had a life-altering experience with audio, and now I'm sucked in. I'm legitimately considering after profit sharing getting the big boy stack for this.
Is that going to be any noticeable difference?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm told yes. I've been legit, like I've kind of hit the maturation point. Like I spent the last month of month of November. Okay, for the audience, like this all started because the headphone jack on my computer speaker's control pod had worn out after Kiki, like 15 years. Like I don't even know how long I've had these. It was I think might have had these before you and I even met. These are good. I have a set of Bose Companion 5 computer speakers. They're very nice. They were like $500 new in like 2000 and something. I don't remember when I bought these. But I mean, I was like fresh out of high school when I got these. Or I might have even been in high school. I've had them forever. But the control pod is broken. And I was looking at the cost of, like, it still works, but the headphone jack is just worn out from age and use. And so I was like, I'll just buy a basic, like, headphone amp DAC thing, like the little, it's like the size of a deck of cards, and then I can plug my headphones in, and I don't have to putz with it. and it had a deal where you could plug a auxiliary cord in the back and then run it to your the input on your speakers and basically just bypass the speakers like decoding.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not bad. This is better than what came in the thing. I'm like, and it was like $80. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then one of my friends was like, you gonna play with that baby's toy? Come on. Like, where you at, man? Like, you gotta do this. Do it right. And so I got talked into, and I shit you not, no pun intended, the company's name is Shit, SCHIIT, and you build a shit stack.
Very nice.
Are we sure it's not shite?
No, it's shit.
Okay.
It's shit. It's a pun. I thought it was shite. No, it's shit. They're very proud of the fact that they named their company Shit. It was on purpose.
Okay.
I'm just running shit, bro. Come on. It's good shit.
Come
Yes.
and get the good shit. Come and get the good shit right here.
So I had these things for, I don't know, I think the last time we were recording, I had just gotten the K10 from Fios, which was the thing I started with. And then it was like, well, I mean, if you're going to do this, you do it right. Come on. So I ordered the basic shit stack, which is like $200. And it's a digital decoder and then a stereo headphone amp, which is what I'm using. And I'm like, I mean, if I'm going to do this, I want to. There's a premise. There's a premise in hobbyist worlds called "buy once, cry once." So, if you're going to do something, just don't hesitate to spend the money and just buy the thing you know you're going to eventually get anyway. Once, cry about it, and be done with it, and don't like buy something and go, well, I could have got a little farther. Buy again, and slowly climb the ladder. Just go to the edge of your comfortable, what your budget holds, and just go there. Don't pull back. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well get the nicer versions of the stuff, which were another $150. So suddenly I go from like an $80 thing to a $200 thing to like a $400 thing, and I'm like, the hell did I just do? And then once I got there, it was like, well, why don't I just order the equalizer that goes in between the two things? That was another $150. And then I got that far, and I'm like, well, why don't I just get some decent headphones? That was my mistake.
How is that a mistake?
What's up?
How is that a mistake?
Kiki, do you know how much these headphones cost?
I think you told me, but I don't remember.
$1,600.
Holy fuck.
These are the very edge of, like, reasonable audiophile stuff. Like, I skipped all the bullshit. Like usually guys go, like, 4 or 5 headphones between, like, what I had, the M50s, and these. I just said, screw it, I'm just gonna buy the nice ones and be done with it. So I skipped all the ones in the middle. Like there's like a $200 set, a $300 set, a $600 set, a $1,200 set, like that people slowly work up to. I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna buy the nice ones.
What happened to Mish?
But now that I have these, I question if I shouldn't have just bought the big shit stack, which is a significantly more expensive proposition. And I'm really, really, like, I've been mulling it over, and I really think that, like, when I get my profit sharing for 2020, I'm gonna buy the first of like 3 parts for that.
Awesome.
And legitimately, all it is, it's the same thing I have now. It's just the bigger, badder version. More refinement, more parts, a fancier design, basically.
Fancy.
Okay. As long as you're happy.
I don't know. Like, I don't actually know that. Here's the whole thing. I would love to hear this, because, like, what I'm looking at now, the big stack, if I just want to, like, say screw it and go right at the top of the ladder, we're talking, what, so it'd be 2,200, 600, so 2,800, like, just under $4,000 for the whole thing. And the most expensive part is if I'm going to buy another DAC, the digital converter, I'm going to buy the big boy. Like, I'm going to buy the end game DAC. That's the first thing I'm going to buy because the other two parts aren't as important because I'm not running, like, esoteric. Like, the big amp is, like, legitimately the plan is this. I'm going to buy, if I do this, I'm still, like, I told myself, I'm not buying any more junk. Like, I'm, like, what I got works. It's awesome. I'm super happy. But I'm going to buy the big boy DAC in February when I get the money from my profit sharing. And then if that has any effect, I'm going to buy the bigger headphone amp that has the fancier ports on it. And then finally, probably sometime next year, I'll buy the Lokius Max, which is the big equalizer. Because that's not as, like, the equalizer will still work, the one I have, so it's not like, that's the last part I need to replace.
Yeah.
And the amp is more than heavy enough to do these, because these are low, headphones have what's called impedance. And the lower the impedance, the easier it is to drive them to make sound. These are low impedance. These are like 30 ohm. You could theoretically run these on a computer's headphone jack, or even like a phone's headphone jack, even though that's not really a thing anymore. Like, phones don't have headphone jacks anymore. So, like, if you're going to run wired headphones on a phone or a portable device, now you have to have that stupid adapter thing, which is, like, even more money, which I'm not going to do. I just use earbuds. But, like, I've been conversing with what I consider borderline psychos. Because, like, they're talking to the stuff they're buying is in the 5-digit range. We're talking over $10,000 for a piece of equipment. And I'm going, why? What am I missing? Like, well, it's just not the same. I'm like, I need you to verbalize, use your language to explain to me what I'm missing. What is it doing that this is a really nice set. Like, legitimately, I think anybody who's, like, doing any amount of multimedia on a computer should consider either a good sound card or a DAC, because it legitimately changed my life to hear sound coming out of these things. Like, it's a little shocking how shitty sound translation is on most things when you hear it out of something that's actually decently high end. And to be dead honest, the basic DACs are under $100. Like, they're not an expensive piece of equipment. Like, I don't actually think anybody needs to do what I did. I did it because I'm stupid. I have more money than sense. And in the end, any new realm that I did, like any new realm of learning that I could stick my claws into, I will. It just so happens that I didn't I had spent all my life worrying about video output without realizing that I was missing out on the audio side of it. And now everything is just crazy because it's like I'm now, because I'm getting such high resolution out of my stuff, I'm seeing where people did a bad job mixing their audio because I can hear it now. And that's not me being a smartass. It's like legitimately, like, I'll watch YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, that guy is like, he doesn't have his channel. Like, you can tell like the channels aren't balanced, like left and right are unequal, or like the vocal track is like they're talking, it's way too low compared to their background music, and you can pick it up. But the whole thing is you don't normally have to worry about that because you don't have the kind of audio resolution. I don't know how to describe it. Like the clarity, the resolution of like what you're picking up is just crazy. Like, I've been listening to jazz and classical music and even like electronic, and like with anything with real honest to God instruments, you start to be able to pick, like, I never used to be able to pick out individual instruments. Like, I was listening to a big band version of, like, the Mario 64 soundtrack, and like, I could hear, like, trumpets and trombones and, like, the clarinets and, like, you know, like, the woodwind section. You could hear the individual pieces of the woodwind section. I'm not saying, like, the players, but you could pick out, like, there are clearly different instruments making up, like, the entire melody of that noise. Like, it's
Yeah, and speaking as a musician, see, saxophones and clarinets clarinets are more woodwinds, but technically a saxophone
Well, I mean,
is
the brass section, like you
a
can tell
woodwind, even though
trombones
it's
from
mostly made out of brass.
right. Like
Yeah, but like when you're saying you could pick up the clarinets and the flutes, those are the ones that are harder to hear when you're hearing for woodwinds, when you're listening for woodwinds, the
right.
oboes, the English
Right.
horns, the clarinets, the flutes. Saxophones can usually make a loud enough noise that
Right.
you can hear them. And that's
Well,
because I've been playing saxophones most of my life.
You can tell
When
you
you
can
have
tell the
that-
different ones too, like the one type of sax versus the other. Like when there's multiple sax players, it's not just you hear sax noise, you hear like the low one and the high one and like the one in the middle. Like they can tell them apart. It's insane. I'm not joking. Like this is like I was listening to Five Iron Frenzy, which is a ska band, and they have like the brass section. You can hear like the one guy plays like like I don't know, like the tenor sax, the low sax, and there's a guy playing like the alto sax, and you can tell that they're sax. Like that sound is similar, but they're different. And I was like, what is this? What am I hearing? How is like they used to all just kind of muddle together, and now I can tell them apart.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, for me, it's also because a lot of times I have earbuds in, so it's a little bit easier to catch it. But also
Right.
because I've played several different ones, so I know, and it's like right there, so I know what they sound like on an intimate level. But when you, like you said, when you have the audio ability to distinguish that, it's amazing because and so. And I'm saying you're going low one. Which low one? Because there's like 2 to 3 different low ones.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's like okay, so like what used to happen is you would hear like I would hear like that class of instrument. I don't know what to call it. Like I'm not musically inclined, so like I'm speaking as like a dog learning to do magic, basically. Like
I would pay to see that.
what, me to be turned into a dog and do magic?
Yes.
I mean, I paid money to see that
I
too.
thought you were already a bulldog. What? Wait a minute.
Right?
Did I miss that?
It's my what do you call it? It's my animagus or whatever.
He's wearing his glamour today, Kiki. But so there's brass, low brass, woodwind, percussion.
I mean, like even in percussion, like you can tell like the big drum from like the snare drums and the the one that stuck out to me as I was listening to one of the Mario songs, and you could pick up like the what do you call it, like the marimba, like the the guy striking the bars.
The xylophone?
Thank you.
Because there's a xylophone and there is a different one. That
Like
looks
the
very much
marimba's
like
the
a
other
xylophone,
one.
but
Yeah.
marimba's the other one, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you could hear like when the percussion is going, you could hear the drums, like the drums, but you could also hear like the marimba and like there were one of them they used like the steel drum. You could hear that the resolution is so high you're picking up the individual instruments. Like listening to like rock music, you can hear the guy strumming the bass guitar, and you can hear like I get that sounds stupid, but it kind of like in like when you don't have the resolution, it all just kind of merges together into one big picture. But it's in my brain. It's like being able to see like the strokes, like the brush strokes on a painting. Like yes, there's still the whole painting, but you start to be able to pick out the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know nothing about music, so like as a dude listening to music, like music with real instruments, like big band, orchestra, like like where it's more than just guitars and drums and stuff, which is still amazing. It was still amazing. Like I listened to like old classic like AC/DC, fucking the Eagles, Meatloaf, Journey, Boston, like all these old
Yeah.
70s, like I got Amazon Music Unlimited. I just turned it on and said, "Show me the world. I know nothing. I am a blank slate. I have particular taste, but I'm willing to hear anything." And it started playing me stuff, and I'm going like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" I'll never forget Too Many Zoos, the subway buskers, the one that they're famous for. And hearing the main guy with in the video that dances around with his sax, hearing his and the guy who accompanies him with the not quite as deep sax, and hearing that, realizing there are two different saxophones in that thing, and not realizing it up until that point that there are two guys playing saxophones, and I had never noticed this before.
Yeah, and I've always said about that guy that I am incredibly impressed, number one, by his musicianship, how well he can play, and the fact he stands around with a baritone saxophone.
Right.
God damn it, those things are heavy.
Well, it looks humongous. It doesn't look like a light instrument. I
can tell you from, actually, I made. Hold on. Holy shit. Now, when I say we have 5 different saxophones, I can tell you we have 5 different saxophones. Yes, I can show you one. Hold on. You may be able to hear me pick this thing up. Holy shit. Okay. Thank you, honey, for having a baritone saxophone. Okay. Now, when I say I can hold this up using my hand while standing, I mean it. All right.
Oh, did it?
I'm going to flip this around. So, that's the case. Me for comparison. Okay. Now I'm going to take it out. Which way do you open? That is the question. Crap, I don't know which way this one opens. Hold on. There we go. I figured it out. See, this is not my saxophone. I had to see how it opened. So, when I say I could hold it up and not be sitting down, I mean it. So, let me flip this around. Oop, hold on. Flip back around. So, I'm going to have to prop this up. Moment, I'm going to have to prop it up a different way. And so, you can see where it lands. Well, hip.
Right.
So, it's very large. And very, very, very large.
Right.
And because it has an extra thing, it has a spit valve, which I'm going to show in a second. If I could get to where... Hold on. Turn on light. There we go. So spit valve right here.
Right.
Because it curves down around and then it collects right here. So occasionally have to, like the trombones, you have to spit valve out. So that's that one. And put that back down. Oop. And called a woodwind because the uses reeds. So they're about yay big.
Right.
Nice. So it's very similar to a clarinet mouthpiece.
Oh, sure.
So, and he's got lots of reeds in here. And hold on. So, hold on. Very back.
Okay.
Just so there's a size comparison. I swear to God, he had his. Okay, I found my saxophone. And does he have a soprano here? Maybe that's his alto. Crap. I should have brought. Is this what I'm looking for? Maybe. No. This looks too big. That's not what I'm looking for. I swore he had a soprano in this closet, but I could be wrong. But yes, sausage. I know you're waiting for Mom to come back down the stairs. So this is an alto case. A little bit easier to.
Right.
This one's mine. Well, one of mine. So it's matte, so it's not shiny. But 1 second. I'm making some coffee, so that's why I was like.
Oh, you're good.
But so also, so it's a little bit easier to pick up and hold. So, this thumb cracks a lot more often because of doing this.
It got used.
Yeah, this one it holds it in place. So, what time is it? Come on, show me. Thank you. I still got like 10 minutes. So this is actually a little bit closer to clarinet sized mouthpiece. The fun part is you have like protectors that help because this is part of it that sticks up.
Yep.
And it's for the neck piece. One of the fun parts is they have ones that are just this, and then they have ones like this one, which are fuzzy rods.
Woo!
Fuzzy rods.
Fuzzy rods.
Is that
Let's see here. I don't think you've ever heard this. I don't think Dougie Lou has ever heard this.
A soprano sax? Oh my god.
This is an alto, honey.
Alto, sorry.
That's okay. I don't think he's ever heard this. So we got it.
That face when you forget your friends know how to play musical instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a flautist.
Okay. I was like looking at her like, she's like, I don't think you've ever heard this. I'm like, wait, what? Like, she just said it, but in my brain, I'm like, wait, she's going to play an instrument? Like, she does play an instrument. What the hell am I talking about?
Oh man, this feels a little bit odd having this around my neck again. All right. Let me get this out from around my neck. It's a little bit louder.
It's going to be.
Ah, yes, the ever important adjustment of the mouthpiece.
Heard that before, huh? Yep. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to hear than the piano. Yeah. Yeah. But what's that?
Crazy.
I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Nobody does.
But
we're all just dancing through life.
Excuse you? I don't dance, please and thank you.
I'm sorry, interpretive shuffling.
Turn this back on. All right, earbuds back in yours.
Okay,
Whoop.
not related to music, but apparently the UN had to close down because there was a guy with a gun.
Oh, fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. Hour-long standoff.
Jesus.
Can I just say I don't miss lugging the baritone saxophone around? I do not miss it.
I carried around a flute. That was easy as shit. Because
I
they're
know it's
only
easy
like
as
this
shit.
big.
Right.
Uh,
And the case is even smaller because you break it up into pieces.
yeah. Well, my one good friend, oops, as I knock things over,
Oh no.
she also played the flute. And during marching band season, she played the piccolo, which meant she could just stick it in the inside pocket of her band uniform and carry it that way. So, crap. How the hell did we get everything in here in the first place?
I never tried the piccolo.
Do we seriously have like 4, 5 saxophones in here? Because I know there's one downstairs. Because I have the one that they got originally from my older brother, and that was like forever ago. Jesus Christ, like 3 years ago. And I started using it in middle school. Got to high school and realized that it was like majorly out of whack, like just so totally out of tune. So we got me a new one. Okay, I'm gonna have to move some stuff because Bertold Sax is a big ass motherfucker. We should probably clean this out anyways, because there's too much crap in here, and I don't know what half of it is. Well, I know what some of it is. Oh, that's my carrying case for my alto. Okay. I have a soft case for carrying it with a shoulder strap. And let's move these forward so we can fucking. But like I was gonna say earlier, there is the Porcelain series by Garth Nix, which I want to at some point be able to figure out how to translate the Porcelain to 5e. Because the Porcelain in the Old Kingdom, which is swords magic, which is called charter magic, and then there's also chaotic magic ish, death magic. A little hard to explain. But the Porcelain puts the dead back where they're supposed to be. So technically they are necromancers, but they're not. So I think it'll be interesting to figure out how that translates between necromancy and actual like magic. And then every charter mage has, and every person who lives there has a charter mark on their forehead. So anything or anyone you see with a broken charter mark, not necessarily a good thing. And what made me think of that is that, so there's the wall, which separates the Old Kingdom from basically like 1930s, 40s. So like they have cars and electricity and the amenities, but it's not anything like what we have. Like no video calls, no computers,
Right.
none of that kind of shit. So like probably we're stretching from like the 1930s to the 1950s or 60s, probably ending at like the 1940s, based on the reading I did. And then the wall is like the neutral zone, and there's time distortion. So like if I can't pronounce the name of the town, I know what it is, I can see it in my brain. But you get sent over to the Old Kingdom for 2 weeks, then they come back and say, we've been there a month, and we deserve to get paid for a month. So that kind of puts havoc on the paying scale. And also, if the wind is blowing from the Old Kingdom electricity starts to fuck up. The lights will go off or flicker, you know, that kind of thing. Now, the Aporson uses and necromancers use 7 to 9 bells and a bandolier across their chest. It goes from the Rana is the smallest, and it's maybe not much bigger than my thumb. And that is the sleep bringer. It can also wake people up. And then I think the fuck, I have to look this up. The deepest one is the death bell. And it sends everyone who hears it into death, which includes the aforesaid. So there's Rana, Mazriel, Kibeth, Dirham, Belgair, Saraneth, and Estoril. So Rana is the sleeper, Mazriel is the waker, Kibeth is the walker, so you can make people go where you wish. Dirham is the speaker. It allows speech or makes things mute. Belgair is a thinker. It also erases memories. And Estoril is the weeper. Throws all who hear it deeper into death. So a lot of these have like two different. It's like a dual purpose, and you have to make sure on how you're ringing it is intent and the magic and how you're actually ringing the bell on what you want to happen. So, yeah, as I say, it'll be very interesting to see how. I would assume it would be a bard, because the bells. So you have to have some form of musical ability, as well as either like warlock or sorcerer, I would assume. And there's also Maggot. Maggot is a little critter who is technically a magical being that's tied to the Aporsons. Like he can show up as either a cat or a dwarf with very sharp teeth. To Sabriel's father, he usually is in dwarf form. With Sabriel, he's a cat, and he wants to kill the Aporsons, but he can't because it's fun. Anyways, but that's kind of what I thought of when you were talking about getting a call. Hold on.
Okay. Are you still there?
She must have had a phone call.
Yeah, no, I meant you consciously still there.
No, I'm long gone. This is a meat shell at this point.
Okay. As long as you understand what's going on.
Right. I have a call, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm not gonna lie, I got an email, I was reading it quick. What were we talking about?
She's talking about a book.
Oh. Okay, I'm sure the book is awesome.
I started watching Carol and Tuesday on Netflix.
I'm still mad that never got a physical release.
It's really sad that it didn't. No, that it did.
Right, yeah.
It didn't. Because,
I know what you meant, yeah.
Yeah, I'm only 4 episodes in, but it is adorable and endearing.
It's supposed to be very good, and I was shocked. That's why I'm really unhappy anytime, Netflix gets anything, because it's like, we're not going to make a physical release.
Because you can just watch it on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when your contract runs out and it disappears into the ether? Then what? I don't care. Everyone who wanted to watch it will have watched it. Yar har har, matey. What's up?
I'm laughing at your har har, matey.
Well, I mean, that's my response when they're like, there'll be no physical releases anymore. It's like, yar har har.
Yeah. But it's just two girls from two different backgrounds coming together wanting to make beautiful music. And the show does that really well. Like, Tuesday is from a rich family, Carol's from not having a family and never being adopted, so she's the poor kid.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not just points of facts about them, it plays to their strengths and informs upon their characters.
Right.
While being just simple and cute at the same time. It's not too heavy.
Right.
Like Cowboy Bebop. It's just...
You're gonna carry that load.
Yeah, it's just light enough. I mean...
Bebop has the Watanabe touch of being like, super silly fun, then super dark and deep. It's like, jeez, that's crabbity.
I have not watched Netflix's Cowboy Bebop yet, because hubby hasn't been in the mood for it.
General consensus is a hot trash fire.
Yeah, but I kind of want it to be, because I think that'll be funny. Because people forget how campy Cowboy Bebop was.
They from all the hardcore fanboys that I follow, it's their complaint is they got Jet right, and I'm clearly dog, but like everybody else is written completely differently.
I don't know. I'll watch it eventually. Still,
I just think at this point, Cowboy Bebop is such a product of its time that you can't ever really replicate it. It's kind of like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I say it's like, the new Ghostbusters really touches on a lot of what the original Ghostbusters did, but it will never ever be the original Ghostbusters because that's 1980 sensibilities, which is not who we are as a society today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's a product of its time. Because there's a lot of shit, like when you look back, like 80s, 90s movies, there's a lot of shit where you go like, why did we think this was okay? Well, that's just where society was at. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't...
Yeah.
Or it's like all the weird racist shit in like Looney Tunes. People are like, oh my god. I'm like, dude, it's 1940s. Like, yes, of course it's full of weird racist shit. Like, it was the 1940s. Xenophobia raged.
What do you expect?
Yeah. It's called, there's a reason that the little mouse was Mexican and wore a little sombrero and a sarape. Because that was the stereotype.
Oh, Speedy knows everybody, sister. Don't you, Speedy?
So it's like, yeah, there's a reason. And it's like, none of that shit would be made today, because heaven forbid we as a society know better. Wait a minute.
I mean, because I have access to Netflix now, of course, I've been watching Squid Game.
Oh yeah? How is it?
So far, so good. We're only... hang on. What episode are we on? 5 episodes in? But it's really good. I really enjoy the characters. I enjoy the thriller mystery genre it's going with. Because you don't know who's behind the Squid Games. You don't know who's behind the masks. You don't know their motives beyond little things you pick up here and there.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the motives of the people playing the game themselves, which are diverse and different. I mean, everybody's in debt, but they're in debts for different reasons.
Right.
also been watching Arcane, which I know nothing about League of Legends. But
Right.
you don't have to watch it. It's self-explanatory within it. It gives you all the knowledge you need about the plot. Not that League of Legends has that intrinsic of a plot, but there is one.
Right.
In the background, kind of like Overwatch. It's beautiful and really good.
Good.
That's good.
Like, kudos to the animation department. Because it's clearly 3D, but it has this lovely painted effect.
Ooh.
Right.
And
It's like when they brought Lupin the Third into 3D. As like it's clearly 3D animation, but it looks like they dragged the characters out of the 2D.
yeah. Everything has this lovely texture to it. And the colors all pop just in the right way. I mean, I know Riot is a terrible company, apparently, but it's still a great show.
Good.
So I recommend watching it if you have the chance. Which I suppose Mish would, because she has Netflix.
Yeah. I've kind of been off and on. Like, I haven't been on Netflix for a little while. I'm kind of waiting for The Witcher to come out, which is, I think, in like a week.
Is it
or less
only
than
a week?
December 7th, I think. And also the next season of The Crown to come out.
Oh wait, this says 17th, not 7th.
Oh, 17th? Oh.
Yeah.
I got 7 right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to The Witcher.
Yeah. Siri getting badass. Double thumbs up.
Yeah. I own all the games. I'll play them someday.
At some point, I will read the books. At some point.
I will too, because... So I always qualify that if my brother can read the series, then I can read the series, because he fucking hates reading.
Right.
So if it gets him to actually do it, that means it's got a good enough story. So I'll read it, with the exception being Game of Thrones. I didn't like Game of Thrones. The writing is too dry.
Okay.
And I couldn't just sit there and read it and be dry. I fell asleep.
Well, like, sometimes what I'll do in a bookstore is I'll start reading.
Mm-hmm.
And if it catches me, I'll be like, fine, I'll buy it. But I picked up the first one of the Game of Thrones, and I'm like, what the fuck? No, place back on shelf. Now, technically, I came into watching Game of Thrones at the near the mid to end of the final season. So I binged it all and went, I would rewatch a few episodes, a few seasons of this, but I wouldn't rewatch the entire thing.
Yeah, it has its issues, especially the end, but it has its issues.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of watched it because hubby watched it, because he also read the books, because he's another person who hates to read. So if a franchise gets him, I'll also read that. But again, Game of Thrones, I just could not fucking read.
Right.
And I finished Twilight.
Hmm.
Well, it's generally been stated that J.R.R. Martin doesn't know what to do at this point.
Well, they finished it for him,
and he didn't like the finish. Nobody did.
Well, that was discussed as basically the showrunners wanting to. They had a chance to do Star Wars. They were trying to basically rush it so they could get to Star Wars, and then they bombed so bad, supposedly, that Disney went, no, it's all right. You just keep doing your fantasy shit. We'll find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I liked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because they made the conscious decision of next season is going to be our last season. Let's wrap this shit up the right way.
Right.
And you can like it or not like it. I understand there may be people who don't like it. But they wrapped it up, gave it a nice feel-good ending, in my opinion. So I'm like, good for them.
Right.
Because it's like, with Game of Thrones, it's like, after I watch the final season, I can kind of go back and intellectually go, okay, I see why this happened. I see why this happened. But then during it, it's like, what the fuck? You just fucked up Jamie's arc. Like, his redemption arc. Like,
Right.
he was a good dude and you just fucked it up.
Right.
Back and going, that's a toxic fucking relationship. And sometimes you can only get out of those when you die.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate thing.
Sadly, that
You
happens
hope
to
that
a
the
lot
people
of
get
women.
out of it. Yeah. You hope that the innocent parties get out of it and survive and have a somewhat okay ending. Sometimes, but a lot of times they don't. And that's what happened with that. I think at this point everybody knows what happened at the end of Game of Thrones, so it's like,
Right.
but it's like, and Bran is just going like, okay, we're going to, he got enough shit during his life. Let's give him honor in death. And it's like he died for his queen, which is correct. But allowing that one who knows what happens dying, giving him that step away of he died as he lived as a kingslayer, but he died doing what he was supposed to do. So, not writing down what happened. Like, yeah, we all know that they were fucking each other and they were brother and sister. No, we're not gonna, just let's leave it. And he died when he was doing what he was supposed to do. So that's why I was like, okay, that's good. There's at least one person who was like, he was decent to me and he was on the right track, and let's be decent back. Thumbs up. So, but that again, that's after like thinking about it for a while and thinking back and going, you kind of have to think over what happens to actually sort of understand what they were trying to go for. It didn't really hit until you actually thought about it, but if you're not wanting to think about it, it's not really gonna be understandable, if that makes sense. I guess that's just me as a writer going like, I kind of see why they did what they did, but it doesn't jive with the rest of the previous 7 seasons. And that's downfall, unfortunately. I agree that Daenerys should have been killed off, but she should have been killed off by the people of King's Landing. And yeah, that would have been one way I would have seen her going. Like, she would be like out as the conquering hero, not as the killer of women. Yeah, not a benevolent conqueror. I did not just burn to death women and children and innocents. No, I'm a benevolent conqueror, just like I was in the South, which where she should have stayed, in my opinion. But and then people going, we can't trust a Targaryen ever again. Killer. And yeah, you've got this insanely loyal army, but it only takes one lucky shot to kill someone off. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good you... I'm taking this from actually a webcomic. Doesn't matter how good you are, how fast you are, whatever. At some point, everyone gets a lucky shot. Your luck runs out. So she could have Worm standing right next to her, and someone could still take a crossbow and thunk it into her head. It's like, I'm willing to die to make sure she dies. Yep. But again, that's just me being able to verbal diarrhea my way through something that I don't really get to talk about all that often. because Hubby didn't watch Game of Thrones. So, but yeah. And the Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D. learned their lesson with the Avengers movie. Because while they killed off Coulson again, they brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we can't have Coulson not be here. So we're going to figure out a way to work him into the plot on how to bring him back. So I'm not going to say how, because I don't know if anyone is going to be listening to this and doesn't want spoilers. But yeah, he kind of technically comes back twice-ish. Yeah, me. Don't know how to describe it.
More coffee.
Not that! Anything but that!
I got my booster shot.
Woo! I get mine tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah. I gotta make sure my mom gets hers, and my mother-in-law too. I suppose hubby too, since he works in, food services.
Right.
Mm.
With the, what's it called? The variant that's coming after us?
Omicron?
Oh, Omicron, yes. Sounds like a transformer.
That's because Unicron is a transformer.
I know.
Still have to get mine, but I'm not in a big rush because I don't work outside of the home.
Right.
And I usually wear masks when I'm going into like the store or something.
Well, here I have to wear a mask regardless of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mostly got it because I was at the doctor's office, not because I really need it above anybody else. I was just there for a checkup, and he's like, "You qualify for the booster shot. You want it? Sure."
Right. That's nice.
It's like, why not? I'm here. I qualify for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Right.
And actually, the only issue is that it's a little tender on the injection site. There's no, really hurt arm or weird side effects or anything.
Right. I'm hoping that I won't have, the last, the first two, man, I got whacked. I'm hoping that this one I won't. It'll just be, I feel a little off or whatever, that I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the second one really kicked hubby's butt. The second one for me, a little bit tender arm, a little extra tired, like I was, just getting sick or just getting over being sick. That was fine. I was legitimately waiting for the truck that hit my hubby to hit me because he couldn't stay up for more than 30 to 45 minutes before his body was like, "We need to be horizontal, please."
Right.
Thanks. And he legitimately said to me, he was like, if you see the truck that hit me, could you write down the license plate? Thanks. I was like, sure.
Poor hubby.
Because I actually drove a bit to at least an hour and a half to get to where I could get the shot. So he was worried because he was away on a business trip.
Right.
So he was worried that I would not be able to get home. I was like, I think it'll be okay because I feel like by the time, if it does hit me like it hits you, I feel like by the time it does do that, I'm going to be either home or almost home.
Well, usually it takes 4 to 8 hours for it to really hit because your body has spool up time on its response.
Mm-hmm.
We had this conversation when you got the shot because you're talking. I'm like, you're going to be fine. You have at least 4 hours before it's going to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, should be okay. But
what if it isn't?
I know. But and also the thing is that what also kind of leads to my mind is where I got the shot. So it was in a medical office building, right? That was next to hospitals. So this was like the medical office building next to a hospital that's connected to a hospital. So if in that 15 minutes I'm really that serious, they can plot me in the wheelchair and wheel me right on over.
Right.
I don't need to drive anywhere. So I was like, as long as the 15 minutes goes by, I'm okay. I'm driving home. Oh, Booth. Thank you.
Something I ordered is not here yet, and I'm annoyed because all my other stuff is here. Like, I ordered a shit ton of stuff from this website, and
Holy shit, am I pale? Wow.
yeah, you are. But it is winter.
So like, it's white. The beacon is lit. God calls for aid.
Holy crap! You're paler than I am.
What, this?
Your face too.
Dude, I work inside of a building and I live in the fucking bunker. Like, I don't get any sunlight. Also, it's Minnesota. It's the middle of December.
Well, it's unseasonably warm here, so
right.
Whenever I go outside, I tan, even though it's like for less than a minute.
Yeah, I make no excuses. I'm wallpaper paste.
But no, all my other items shipped, and then all my t-shirts from there have not. It says waiting at partner facility. USPS awaiting item. And it said that for a couple days. So I am annoyed. I want my shit. Oh, you've gone super bright.
Yeah, 1 second. It didn't like something I just did. I don't know what it was. If I looked away or I don't know what it is about Discord. It constantly like resets my settings. Which reminds me, I wanted to see if my shit's been delivered. Amazon order. Supposed to be here Wednesday. Coming today. Out for delivery, so it's probably coming with the regular mail. I want my case of energy drinks, god damn it.
What kind of energy drinks?
Did I not tell you this story? I feel like I was talking to you about this, but maybe not. Okay, so I went to the grocery store for lunch like Monday, and they had a new energy drink brand called Clean. And like 50% of the proceeds or profit or whatever goes towards helping people get clean from drug addiction.
Oh.
And like just that by itself was enough to sell me on spending like, $2 on a can of energy drink. But more amusingly, it's yerba mate, so it's basically like sparkling tea.
Ooh.
And it comes in a bunch of really weird flavors. I got the regular blackberry, but I found out they have a zero version. And I got the variety pack, and it's coming, today. And it's like cherry lime, orange, ginger, and berry mint.
That's weird. Berry mint sounds good, but
I think orange ginger will be alright.
I don't like lime, so I wouldn't like the lime one.
Right, I like cherry limeade, so that doesn't bother me.
No.
Hello.
Lime one of what?
Energy drink.
Okay.
New energy drink.
Okay.
They have a watermelon version now too, but I didn't get that because I'm not huge on watermelon.
I love watermelon.
I like watermelon the fruit. I don't like watermelon the flavor because it's always the candy flavor.
Oh, I like the candy flavor. Then again, I don't like real cherries, but I love artificial cherry.
Right.
So I like the candy flavored of things.
Yes, I kind of wish they'd done cherry and then something else. I mean, cherry lime is fine because cherry limeade is a flavor, but I just really wanted to try the zero because the regular is God, what is the regular flavors? They're weird. It's let's see, Amazon. I'm gonna go with my orders.
Meow.
Yes, I got that. But if I wanted the regular comes in blackberry, lemon lime, peach, raspberry, and watermelon mint.
Ooh.
While I had money, I got Desert Bus merch.
Of course you did. Of course you did. You consumer whore.
I was gonna get the shirt, but they were out of my size. So I got the water bottle. It's a great fucking water bottle.
But even if it wasn't, would you care? It's Desert Bus.
I would care a little. Like, if it was just a standard water bottle, sure, that's fine too. But if it was shitty, considering I paid $40 for it, I know it all goes to charity, but still. You know, it's the kind where you gotta press a button in order to get the liquid out.
Oh, okay, sure.
And it has a little compartment for, like, your keys or your ID or something when you go running.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna mute it for half a second.
Okay.
Sorry, there is a TikTok challenge going around. The what the fuck?
You and your
I need to look at it again. Ring light challenge. So it's thirst traps, basically, using the ring light. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Ring light. Like,
hold on, let me.
Oh, like we're using?
Like that?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that one right there.
Okay. What's the challenge?
Let me find DM Zombie really quick. Hold on. Because that's, fuck. Okay. So I tend to mute when I'm listening to that because I'm listening to. So, posting in the chat. So it's basically like body positivity-ish kind of stuff. And so I follow DM Zombie on TikTok, and his was the first I saw, and I'm also in his Discord server, and they made a specific channel for it because I guess there's people who are using it for like a class project or something. Most of it is safe for work. So either it's a male presenting and like complete darkness except for the light, so you can't see much, or the way that they're dressed is still safe for work. Sort of safe for work. There's nothing showing.
Okay. TikTok is ruining this country. That's all I have to say.
I'm not very much posting on TikTok. Like, there's the blind GM who does like, here's your questions to Javon of the day, which I actually answered today. Is your character's room a mess, or are they fastidious? Like, is it clean or neat? I was like, well, it depends. If you're talking about my character, it's pretty fastidious. If you're talking about my friend's character, a bomb went off. And just laughing because I was like, two characters I'm thinking about. And Leaf would have a messy room. Anyways, but so I'm mainly on like D&D TikTok, book TikTok, book talk, and like cosplay TikTok. So there's a few like series that are going on that I'm watching. One is really, really wholesome, and if I ever find someone who, like a kid who needs to see it, because he has, this one creator, he has, what's that called? I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's the condition in the hands where there's only like 2 or 3 joints, like 2 or 3 appendages. And so he runs a tavern, and he like shows you how to make stuff, and he's got all the cute like themed dishes and cups and just I'm like, great, this is actually like really, really great, because I'm like, if I ever saw a kid who had the same condition and was feeling self-conscious about it, I'd be like, hey, here, look, all these videos, watch these. See, you could do lots of shit. And yeah. Thankfully, I have not run into the apparently some folks have run into like the conservative TikTok,
Well, yeah.
and occasionally you'll see them going, "Please get me the hell out of here! Get me out of here!" They're everywhere. And I'm like, thank God I am not in conservative talk, because that shit is just no.
It's
And there's
I'm gonna butcher this. Georges Pierre Surat birthday today. The guy that made pointillism.
Oh,
It's like its 165th or 62nd. Because obviously he's dead.
right. No, he's alive, hiding in my basement.
Cool. There's also another TikTok creator who has Hugh and the Dark Carnival. So it's like, and he has like several different iterations of the same character of Hugh. And they're all in different timelines. And one of the Hughs actually has the knowledge of the entire story of all the Hughs and exactly what's going to happen. So he gets to be a villain.
Jesus fuck, the
Very
guy died
nice.
in Auschwitz. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Huh?
The creator of pointillism.
What about him? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
He died at Auschwitz.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Not expecting that. I'm like, I'm looking at things. He's like born in Kherson, Ukraine. I'm like, oh, cool. Died in KZ Auschwitz 1. I'm like, that's a weird place to die. I'm like, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. What else?
I think you don't say the T. I think it's Surah.
Sarah.
Yeah. Either way. He was an important figure, and he was French. So,
Very nice.
as someone who's mostly French, I feel close to that. Although I'm 100% American, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fucking thing. I just got an advertisement for thigh-high socks in the same design as your sweater.
I want these things. Where do I go?
Hang on, I'll click on the link and then send it to you.
I want to go to there.
Why is it fucking advertising them to me is the real question.
That's a good question. Let's see.
I really think you need compression socks right now, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I get ads for like teacups and shit like that.
Must be because I watch all the anime. It's like thigh-high socks. See, this is right for you, and I'm like, okay.
Those are cute.
Oh my God,
I don't know if
those are adorable.
One's on the.
Oh, they do.
The picture on the link are cute.
Oh, they're on sale too. I don't have that much money lying around though, because again, I spent it all.
Right.
I'm considering going to the Etsy shop of someone, but I don't know what I would get her things for, because they're very specific. Like little ghosts little aliens,
Yeah,
insects. And I'm like, these are really cute, but I have no idea who I'd get them for. Like, I want to help you, but I don't know who I would get these for.
Yeah. I bought some tea off of Etsy. It's good. It's London Fog, which is essentially a Earl Grey latte.
Ooh.
It's good. It's a little rich, so I don't have it very often, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Right.
Yes. You know what? I was very happy because I had a couple beta readers for my AO3 Secret Santa thing. And someone was like, I like the angst. I'm like, good, because that's what I was going for. I was like, and then the reconciliation, I'm like, yes. Yay! Okay. I was like, very nice. I still need to, like, they kind of pointed out, like, one person pointed out, like, these are kind of long paragraphs. So I went back and looked and went, you're right. Let me adjust and fix that so they're a little bit easier to read. Whoops. Like, it's not like a mini novel inside of the fic.
Well, I mean, that's why you put it out there, so you can get input.
Yeah. So I was like, does anybody feel like beta reading something? And a couple people were like, we will. Okay, good. Because I didn't want to put it out there without someone doing that. And I was like, okay, good. I didn't want to do it in the actual Secret Santa server thing for it because I'm like, I don't know if the person I got has the same handle between the two like I do. So I don't want to throw it out there and ruin it. So.
Unrelated, because I just remembered. Was it you, Cupcake, that played FF14?
Yeah, we put it pretty hard until our guild leader decided that he hated the game, and then basically the whole team went to pieces.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to ask how you're looking forward to the one-day maintenance.
Not at all, because we're not playing it.
Yeah, okay. Poor hubby is devastated because he won't be able to play for a whole fucking day. The poor thing.
Yeah, we got out of the main game, and then he realized you have to find the Fey points or whatever to unlock flying in the new areas, and he just rage quit, and that was it.
Oops.
And like when he disbanded the guild and everything, I was just like, well, I don't see any reason to play this anymore.
Okay. Alright then.
Yeah. It's a cool game. I was only in it because all the other dudes were playing it. Then when they all quit, and everybody else I know is on different servers, I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest issue is the server congestion and not being able to pick really where you go because so many servers are full.
Right.
So you can't go play with your friends.
Right. I was trying to meet up with Spaghetti, but she was on like a completely different system, and I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah. What server were you on?
I don't remember.
I think it wasn't when hubby was on, so it doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't. Everyone else I know who plays it is like we were in like a different cluster too. Like everyone was on the original one, like Crystal or whatever, and we were in like one of the newer ones because they weren't as congested. We were able to get in. I think it was like Ragnarok or something was the actual server, but like we were in a different cluster too.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna play Spaghetti, she's like, "Oh, I'm on this one, which is in this this completely different system," and I'm like, "Oh, so like we can't even like hang out on different servers. Like you can do like you move to a different server just to hang out and play with people.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that because she was on a completely different system of servers. So I just was like, yeah."
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, shit happens. They got more popular and didn't really know what to do.
Well, and like the worldwide shortages of components has not been,
Yeah.
like it's. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I really want to go to like the big boy stack for this audio and then just be done. But like the one on the DAC I'm looking at, because I'm going to go to the top end one, is 6 to 8 weeks out. So I'll probably make the order New Year's with the assumption I won't have to worry about paying for it until long after I've gotten my check.
Jeez.
Because they stated that they won't charge you till it ships. So I was like, well, there we go.
Meow. Oh, pardon.
Never.
What?
I mean, like, I didn't even get all the way through Far Cry 6. Like, I've been playing it a little bit during my vacation, but, like, it's just not. Like, the games are just not pulling me in anymore.
I'm sorry.
I just think, like, there's nothing they're showing me that I haven't already seen in another game, and they're not doing anything new and interesting with it, so it's just kind of. Well, and then Ubisoft and Activision, then they all went so hard on the whole, like, how much money can we drain out of people's bank accounts? So instead of it being like the old days where you unlock stuff by doing things in the game, and then maybe there'd be a couple things you could buy extra, it's like, all this shit is pay to play. All the equipment, all the stuff. I mean, like, they have the base stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the cool signature weapons and armor and shit, it's all pay to play. So you buy it if you want it.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, the game was, I mean, I bought the game plus the season pack because I really enjoyed 5. And the first, the Voss, like, season pack part, whatever you want to call it, like the first, not expansion, but like side story. Voss is weird. It's a roguelike is what they described it, but basically you're inside his head and it's like a little like a little map, but you start with nothing, and then you basically buy a pistol, and then like when you die you start over with nothing. You have to like collect money to buy more stuff, and you have to like do these battle missions where you fight off a whole bunch of enemies to unlock new weapons. It's just really weird because, like, the game is really difficult if all you have is a standard pistol. Because the enemies are tough, to be dead honest. Like, I've been playing it on and off for weeks, and I just finally beat, like, the first challenge to unlock the bow in that DLC, and I'm just like, this is not fun to me. Like, I was hoping, like, like Blood Dragon or like the Valley of the Yeti in 4. The Valley of the Yeti in 4 was awesome. We had a ton of fun with it. It was like it's like, same Far Cry, but like a little side story Far Cry. And it was like, doing weird stuff with the DLC. Like 5 had, like, the Mars one was really cool, but like the one that was like all horror maps was like, they were weird missions and they were like really hard.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. So,
I'm back.
Stupid.
That's stupid. What's happening?
So, Hold on, I need to type something really quick. So I think in an effort to deal with the audio issues, they started giving people Google Voice numbers, right? And it worked for me for a little while, but now, like me and pretty much a lot of other people are having issues where it drops in the middle of the call, like it'll close. Because what happens is, with a specific call program that we have, there's a version that you actually type in the phone number, and you do, and then with the first call, you actually have to pick up on Google Voice in the browser, and then you leave it open and go from there.
Okay.
And it's just having issues.
That sucks.
So you can either log off your Google Voice, then log back onto Google Voice. That means I need to get out my password. I don't necessarily know if I want to get out my password again. But the good thing is I've saved it on my phone. So I will try that. I'll actually log off and log back in and see if that works.
Okay.
But it probably won't, because other people have done it and they're still having issues. So it's kind of like, yeah, except it doesn't have, like, it doesn't explain why, like, if you're having trouble with it, well, that doesn't explain why it shuts off in the middle of a call. It doesn't explain that. Like, I'm not having issues with it. It should be fine, but it's hanging up, and it shouldn't be. So it's like really annoying, because it's like, okay, because for like the first couple days I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing people, I'm getting calls, it's great, and then issues. I'm like, fuck y'all. Okay, so Google. I started saving stuff in my phone because I was like, I'm tired of not remembering shit. So sign out. Let's sign back in. And hopefully, let's go to not chat. Hang on. Okay. Sheets. Now I need to open up this so I can go to that. There we go. Hopefully this will work. And they just started, like, some of the supervisors just started, like, copy pasting, like, here's what you do if you're having audio issues. Thanks. Like, thanks. But, like, I get it, because there's only so many supervisors for however many people. Like, I get it, but it's like, okay, not everyone's gonna understand why you're not, like, helping them personally.
There's a cupcake.
Sorry, right about the time you got up to walk away, I'm like, ooh, my guts are rumbling.
Oh.
Oh, that was nuts. Whew, you can tell I'm eating better on vacation. Yeesh. My diet's a lot more balanced, but I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I haven't eaten yet today, I just realized.
I had 2 packages of ramen for lunch because I was gonna run out and get something, but all of a sudden I'm like, shit, it's like I got like 20 minutes before we're gonna record. And I'm like, I'm not gonna have time to order and then go get it and be back in time. I was also doing laundry before we started, so I was like taking the towels out of the dryer so that I would have room to move the colors I did of my own shit over to the dryer. I can't tell if I'm pissing my mom off by doing laundry while I'm on vacation or not, but because she doesn't like every Saturday, but like she's not gonna have a ton of laundry if I do my laundry this week.
Yeah.
I was also doing it now because I don't know how I'm gonna feel Saturday, having come post shot. But I digress. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to watch next. I'm going to try to watch some more anime here because I got the time and or the energy, so...
Yeah, and you own a lot of anime.
It's true.
What's with the face?
It's just... I look at that pile. I mean, seriously. Don't laugh. I'm still cleaning, but... I mean, look at that.
Yep.
And that's just what's spilling out from the end of the desk. Like, I didn't buy anything for Black Friday this year. Like, I looked at the sales and just went, there's nothing I have to have. Like, legitimately, like, I'm just like, none of this is like, oh my god, I have to have this right now. And a lot of it is, like, stuff that's not, like, special or limited edition. So it's like, oh, wait. Like, I'm just gonna wait. There'll be another sale.
Yeah, there will be.
So yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Mm.
Plus, I mean, I just spent so much money on the audio equipment this last month that I don't really need to be dropping a shit ton of money on stuff.
Yeah. Are you actually going to buy the big deck?
That'll be February. I'm not going to buy that right now.
Okay.
I'll probably order it like in January because the profit sharing is in the middle of February. The idea being is, if it's going to continue to be out a ways, it makes more sense to order it within the range of getting the money than waiting until I have the money and then waiting another 2 months. Although I'll probably pay in spades for that, but whatever. I just figure the next time I upgrade, I go for broke and just get something really nice that I can live with. That I won't be like, well, I could go better. Because I've looked at the stuff that's beyond what I'm like, the price range I'm looking at. I'm going, I don't honestly know, like, the headphones / speakers I would have to have for it to be important. Number one, I'm not that kind of user. This is what really put me at odds with that crowd of hobbyists. Is like, I'm not an audiophile. Like, I don't claim to be. I don't ever think I will be. Like, I enjoy music, but I'm not that particular.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm also like a general use kind of person. Like, I brought this up when I was looking for headphones. I'm like, I need something that works well for like gaming, media, movies, TV, YouTube, and music. They're like, well, that's like 4 different headsets. I'm like, you're not going to sell me on like $4,000+ headsets. Like, that's not logical to me. They're like, well, this one's good for music, and this one's good for games, and this one's good for movies, and I'm like, why? Well, they just are. Well, that doesn't explain why. That's just because it's not an answer. Then I really dug down. It's like, well, this has got better lower response, and this has got better higher response. Well, this is just more durable, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so basically, when I bought these, I bought the best overall. They're not the best at one thing, they're just the best overall.
Okay.
And I freely admit that I probably could have gone with a cheaper set of headphones, but I was like, I don't want to do this again. Like, I'm just going to eat crow and buy one really nice set of headphones and be done with it. Now, I will admit that I have now purchased the aftermarket cables because these are plugins. And, I'm a dork. But those were surprisingly cheaper. They're modular, which I really liked. So these are weird. Get it off my head. So they've got like 3.5-inch plugins on each cup, and then they go down and they go to my amp on my desk that's got the big quarter. The ones I'm getting to replace them are still these, but on the other end it's like a disconnect, and then you can put whatever end you want for your stereo. And so that way, if I get the fancier one that uses the different connector for hooking up the headphones, I can just take the end that comes with it, which is I bought the one with the end that goes into this, and put the fancier end on it, because these are balanced, so there's one for each ear cup. But it goes to a single point because most people don't do balanced.
Yeah, I would have looked at that salesperson and went, you're listening, but you're not hearing me when I say I'm not doing this for one specific purpose. Give me your best overall headset.
Oh, this wasn't a salesperson. I was talking to other hobbyists.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "Oh, well, you want the HD 800s for this, and you want the LCD X's for this, and the Arios is what I'm wearing for this." And I'm like, No. Like, I want the best overall set. What is the best overall player? Like, I don't need it to be the best at one thing. I need it to be good at all of them. And that's how I ended up with these. And what scares me is there are 3 models more expensive than this. This is not their best model. This is like upper middle.
Okay, sorry, I had a moment of someone replied to a message to me in Discord, and I have Discord open in my actual PC, not in the Citrix environment for work. And so it came through my actual headset. I was like, what? Oh, okay. Someone replied to me. Okay, I got pinged.
Right. Oh, it didn't.
I'm sorry. This is just funny. I'm sorry. So creator that I listened to that I've mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's like today on things I've said during recording. Okay, I thought there was another plane and I was going to have words with the sky. And then someone else posted a screenshot of The Simpsons showing the grandpa in The Simpsons, shaking his fist and says, "Old man yells at cloud."
Hey, I resemble that.
Sorry, he has a blooper reel. It's gonna be on the blooper reel. I haven't listened to the most recent blooper reel, but
right,
yeah. And there's times he busts out singing, and we're all sitting there going, "We love your singing voice. Please do more singing."
Right.
Thank you. He does do a couple singing bits, and he does it in an accent, in character voice. So it's like, thank you. What's up? It's like, it's tough enough, like, being able to sing, but to sing in a character that has a southern accent, it's like, very nice. Anyways. Oh.
Your pain, brother. I feel it.
I'm having a costochondritis flare-up.
Oh, no. Should we get the shotgun? Put you out of your misery?
Yes.
All right. I'll be there in about 10 minutes.
It's going to take you more than 10 minutes to get here.
You should have bring my like kicked in the door, wouldn't you? Just be like, "What the fuck?" So I hit you with the Nerf gun.
Yep.
Uh, this has been a good vacation. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I
Good.
cleaned up a little bit, had fun. I've rested.
Good.
No, it wasn't quite. It's not going to be quite as crazy as the last one, where I was like trying to get all like get the car fixed. I had like 2 or 3 things on in October. It was like I had to get the car fixed, get into the dentist, get this done, get that done. This time it was more like, and I haven't cleaned my entire room, but like I was cleaning up around the desk, and like now I've got so years and years ago, and Mish can confirm this. Like I have this really nice color laser printer that sat right here on this side of my desk, out of sight, and I haven't used it since I graduated from college, like in 2012. And so I have a cupboard back there that was full of like ramen and stuff when we were in high school, but it's been empty for years because like nobody comes here. So I just keep the ramen in the dry foods cupboard in the laundry room. So I cleaned up the printer and just basically put it in there, put it in storage because like I haven't used it. And I took the 2 foot by 2 foot square like coffee table, and that's sitting like right down here now. And then I got a long rectangular coffee table the same color as my desk, and that's sitting on this side now, so that I have more places to basically put stuff. Because this whole alcove down here was basically not getting used. I was like, I should just move, a coffee table. This sounds really weird. Like, I have coffee tables under my desk because I sit this direction. So, like, there's alcoves here and there for chairs that don't get used. So I have coffee tables underneath for storage. So that's something I did. Like, I went and got a coffee table and put it together, and it's actually solid wood, which is really nice.
Ooh.
I was going to do the IKEA one, but Target had one that was the right size and is the same color finish as my desk. And all it required of me was you had to have the only tool required was some goofy ass like it came with a weird hex key, but I took the hex key to work and bought the drill, or not the drill, but the bit that fits it. And so I just bop, just use the drill to drive them in most of the way, then use a screwdriver with the same size bit to finish it. It took me like 10 minutes. It was awesome. It was so great. I'm so proud. Like, it's so stupid, but I'm so proud. Like, it worked out so well, and like now I have places to put stuff, because I had my old computer sitting under this desk, and I'm like, why is it sitting here? Like, I cleaned it up and put it in storage in the cabinet, because I'm like, it's just sitting here. Like, why do I have it sitting here?
Yeah, we have to do something with my mom's old computer. She just bought herself a new one.
Right.
Right now, it's just sitting in the living room.
Right. I mean, honestly, if the dog hadn't gotten sick, I was gonna redo like this entire area with like a new TV and stuff to hang out with him. But now that he's gone, it's kind of like,
why bother?
Right. I can just easily sit here.
Mm.
I've got these giant monitors, so it's like. So that was.
I'm sorry, Cupcake.
No, it's all good. The sentence wasn't sentence. I was just kind of going like, that was just kind of like a thing that, like, I had plans, and then he got sick, and it was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. BRB.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey there.
Hello.
Thank the Lord I have enough time to stay in follow-up to be able to do this on my actual goddamn desktop now, because my Bluetooth earbuds decided to die, and I'm like,
Oh,
like shit.
right.
But now I about like 30 seconds or so, less than a minute away from not having calls for the rest of the day. So I'm like, let's do it this way, because that way I can not drain the battery on my iPad, and I can actually still see your beautiful faces.
Right.
And save. Oh. Oh.
So this is why iRobot's trending.
Huh.
Because there's a robot that looks like a person.
Ah.
And kind of acts like a person really well.
Apparently, that reminds me, there was something about people being disturbed, and I can kind of understand why, about synthetic life reproducing.
Yeah,
Right.
the organic robots that can reproduce themselves.
Yep.
That's a little scary, but also amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of hubby's nightmares about robots, because he does not like robots or the idea of them.
Right.
It's actually a book series that I read. I'm gonna have to find it here on my Kindle. It's gonna be easier on my Kindle. By Richard Wand. It's the Colony series. So there's this guy who, my library, who creates so there's a couple guys who, so this is like not too far ahead of us, like, far enough ahead that there's a little bit more technologically advanced than we are, but still not that far ahead. And there's a couple guys who, they're in technology, etc., and they've often talked about lots of things, and also being afraid of an extinction level event, like, a solar flare, asteroids, meteors, the usual apocalyptic movie theme. And one of them legitimately creates an AI. Now, granted it was an acronym, but her name is Janice. That's the acronym, so she's Janice. And a lot of times, because she actually, and because it's far enough in advance, like, a lot of times things are done so much over the internet, over the videos and stuff, people don't know she actually created an avatar for herself, created mannerisms for herself to be perceived as more human, etc. So the inventor, like, also instilled his values in her. So, like, the whole, like, protect humanity, do no harm, honors, morals, etc., etc. So part of what they talk about is she goes, I don't know if there should be another one of me. I don't even know after like, I help you with this, I don't even know if I should continue to exist. You know what I mean? So, like, she actually knows, like, I am a dangerous entity, but the way she explains is, I don't know if there should be another entity like me, because I cannot guarantee that the morals and values that I got from you, the courageousness and empathy and compassion for humanity and honor will go to that being. And then all of a sudden, that's one of the cataclysms is war. And, well, extinction level event for a few humans, well, that's two entities like an AI duking it out. So what ends up happening is they have different colonies on different planets. So because at that point humanity's still on one planet. And so there's like 25 to 30 different colonies that she actually creates space travel that works without having to go into like hibernation or suspended animation. So the plan is so that because she knows it has to be far enough away from each other that if space travel is found again by humans, it's far enough, like several weeks away, that if there's a disease, it's going to show up and they're going to know, like, hey, I have a disease, let's stay up in the spaceship until we're better, so we don't have the whole disease extinction level event traveling between planets. So there's that. And so to ensure that they all kind of grow on their own, she pretends like her and the inventors, quote unquote, of the Lakeshore Drive, which is what they use to get people to the different colonies, different planets. So they get around to the planets and then they decide we're going to go on a tour. And then all of a sudden it explodes. And everyone who knew anything about the drive is quote unquote dead.
Jesus.
So she covered her tracks very well because she knew like no one can find out that I'm an AI because people are not going to like it. Like, because she climbed a political ladder, like just totally climbed, and basically like it's kind of like their version of like WHO and the UN. So she kind of got to the top part of that, like the chairman position. So she could legit like she was a major shareholder in like the New York Times. So she was like behind everything. She had fingers in a lot of pies to make sure that this project happened. I am making this happen. There is no other option. This is going to work. And to do that, I need to do a lot of things that aren't necessarily like ethical in terms of like business and like money wise, like so, and like press wise. So she has to like pretend that she's not releasing news stories. So she's like, I'm manipulating humanity to go in a certain direction. And while this is something that, you know, her and her creator and the creator's partner believe needs to happen to ensure humanity's survival, humanity, as a group and as individuals, we don't like to be manipulated or steered in a specific direction by an outside entity very much. Like, even if at the end point we understand why, at the first flush we're going to be like, what the fuck, what is going on? So and then eventually, like 100 or so years later, one of the planets, Arcadia, has a math genius, kind of like a math savant, the one who can see. Like, for example, he at 14, he's already like done college classes, etc. So he can look at, because he's part of the family that does like the tea growing stuff like that out in the hills in the mountains. So he can look at the mountainside and the hillside and go, this is how the equipment has to be to get good irrigation, better irrigation for the plants. And so he could look at it and go, that's what it's supposed to look like, draw it out, write out the math, and here you go. Here's how you build it. So he but he was fostered through his grandmother, because it's like a Chinese American family. Two families that came together, like two family groups. So it's like the grandmother and grandfather of the family, who are like the head of the family in Chinese culture. So like the grandmother, and because they're rich and because they donate to the university very regularly, their name is on a building. So Chen Zumu is fostering her grandson, or great grandson, one of those, to the university to make sure that he can get what he needs to do what he needs to do, etc. So when he gets old enough, he starts figuring out space travel and actually figures it out. And all the while, Janice, she's still here. She like sent off her own little shit. She's got her own little setup going on, like in an asteroid belt or like a solar system that's, where she got all the shit she needs, all the raw materials she needs, all the like factories that she needs to build shit. So she's monitoring everything just to make sure. Like, I'm going to keep an eye on everything, which is, benevolent eye. So she knows what's going on. And so she kind of nudges here, there, like, along the way. But nothing overt. She lets the humans handle it. So she actually is contacted by the grandmother of this family. And it's like, because they kind of, in a snap, like, they figure out, like, there's only like maybe a handful or less of people who figure out in this family on this planet who Janice is, because they were like, well, how did the inventor come up with all this? And they start investigating it and go, okay, here's Janice Quant. Where is she? And then they kind of made some connections. And so she talks to her and like, we want to make sure that we're not going to piss you off, because they realize what she is. But she's like, I understand, like, you guys are doing okay. Like, I'm not going to piss anybody off. And also what Janice is also looking for is like the non-human violent encounter. The whole theory of there has to be life out in the universe. There can't just be us. So she's also like kind of building some stuff, like I don't know if it's a weapon, but she's basically kind of building herself over the like decades to be able to help protect humanity until they can protect themselves, or continue to protect them, because none of them have space travel until like 150 years after like everything is all set and done, because they need to kind of build up from the ground up and go from there. And then they find each other, and then they start kind of like the Silk Road type of thing, because the math genius, he has like an epiphany and then starts figuring out where in the universe, some of the information they have from like who was dropped off before them, who was dropped off after them, and where those planets would be in the nearby solar system. And then they create the spaceship, and then and how to use the spaceship and how to fly it, how long it takes to get there, and so it's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, some of it is a little bit technical, but there's also like you can read through it, if it makes sense. But if I remember correctly, let me bring up my Kindle again. He also has 2 other series. Yep, he has the Empire series, which is a set of 16 books, and then the Childer series, which is a set of 6. Both of those are set far enough in the future that there's already space travel with faster than light travel, FTL, all that jazz. they're still slightly different enough that while both have like the nanite type thing that you can use for like computer stuff, they're still different enough that like that they're two different worlds, I guess. They're slightly different enough, or one is a little more advanced where you can actually have like health nanites in addition to like the nanites used for like computer use and telephone use and video use, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
But yeah.
What's this series called again?
This, let me pull it back up.
Sorry.
Cupcake.
Water bottle. It's like clonk, like shit.
Ugh. Okay, so the one I was talking about, the first one is called Quant. So Quant.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's called a colony. The rest are called a colony story. Or all of them have like a colony story and then the main title.
Mm-hmm.
So colony story Quant, a colony story Arcadia, a colony story Galactic Survey, and then a colony story Silk Road. And one thing about Arcadia is that there's like really no taboos or laws against nudity because it's a tropical environment, and when they first got there, they had like the lavas, a little bit like you see like in Hawaii, that kind of thing where it's like the skirts / like kilted up skirt for like the men and women. And the women were like, we're tired of having to unhook to breastfeed.
Oof. Right back.
So, we're just going to have no shirts on or no bras on at all. So,
Booby freedom!
yeah.
I don't know, that would make breastfeeding easier, but then it would make other things difficult, because boobs just kind of bounce everywhere.
True.
When they are free.
Yeah, and a lot of the times what you'll see is people on like public transportation, like buses, totally naked. Like, we're going to the beach, and we don't want anyone taking our stuff, and we're going to get naked, we're going to swim anyways, so just go naked.
Yeah.
And also, that makes for an interesting thing later on in the novels when they first arrive at a specific, and when they set up like the communication stuff so they can like exchange information and culture. The other planet had those taboos, so they had to like warn them, like, this isn't taboo. We're not a bunch of creeps. This is just our culture. But it also kind of shows how, like, an unboxing.
Ooh, a box.
Yes. It kind of shows how, like, humanity, when in different climates and, like, in different situations, will...
Oh, what the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Will, like, develop differently. What's up, Cupcake?
He can't hear us. Is it broken?
Uh-oh.
Or are they the wrong flavor?
Fuck. That was not what I was expecting.
Okay.
Alright, well. He's in line.
Let me see here. Now, if you're looking for, like, something that...
Nice! Oh my god, that's way better. That's way fucking better. Holy shit.
Uh-oh.
Close the door. That's awesome. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Hang on, kids. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah, you just sit there, little stink.
Okay. So, the variety pack I got, instead of berry, had watermelon. So it's cherry, orange, and watermelon. Which I'm more excited about because Berry Mint was kind of a what the fuck, but I grabbed an orange ginger just to give it a shot. But this is the stuff. Clean, yerba mate energy.
Cool.
The whole thing. 50% profits go towards recovery.
Very good.
Very good.
I don't know how much of it is true, but hey.
If they say it,
Makes
it has
sense.
to be true. Isn't that how it works?
Yes, that's how the internet works.
That's actually not bad.
Good.
It tastes like watered down ginger ale with orange.
So, I just got an email telling me to go buy my books for next semester.
Yeah.
One class has no books. The other class has 5 books that are required.
Wow.
Luckily, they give me a voucher, so I didn't pay a dime for any of the books, but...
So one is all application, basically. The other one is...
It's American history during, like, slavery and the Trail of Tears and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeehaw!
Although my current class, they have not created the fucking midterm yet.
Oh!
Oh no.
Madness!
I want to know if I bombed it or not.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I probably didn't. It's just, I don't know.
Understandable.
And you never will. You never will!
Yeah, if I may have talked about this other story book series before.
That's received.
It's the Rushed series by Brian Herman.
I believe you have.
I just like it because it's like a regular dude, like legit or like early to mid 30s, out of shape, and he has to save the goddamn world and deal with monsters and magic and evil clowns and gods and God, like the Christian God, like, and so he's like, I don't want to do this, but if I don't do this, no one's going to do it and the world's going to end. God damn it. I can't let that happen.
Right.
And that's why you were chosen. I didn't want to be chosen. I just wanted to live my life and teach English and live with my wife and yeah. So if anyone reads it, there are clowns in book 6. And there's death of technically an innocent, but it's technically that innocent is like a separate personality from the actual person. Like the original person who is like the evil person created a front personality and made Eric watch as that fronted personality died. Because there's no other way to stop the evil BBG except to kill with a the witches have a knife that cuts to the soul. So one nick and it keeps cutting down to your soul until you're dead. So he actually has to cut her with this knife. And then the original personality goes, oh, all right, let's torture you. Flips to the front personality that's innocent and makes them watch as she dies and cries about it because she doesn't understand what's going on. And it's like, God damn, like, yeah. But he actually does save a couple of young ladies as well. Like, he saves the rest of the coven that person was a part of. And in the first book, you meet Isabel, who, so what happened to Isabel, she was like a 13-year-old or so. She was like 13 or 14 in like the 70s. Her parents and her went to this place that is like, it was like a nudist colony type of deal. And then so she like had eaten and she wasn't tired and she wasn't thirsty or hungry. And they didn't realize, because of course they didn't see it, is that the guy who ran the place also put it on like on this ley line type of thing, or where their fisher was. So it was like half in one plane, half in another plane. And she wandered into the other half of the house and got stuck. Couldn't get out, and basically became like stuck in this other plane of existence. So Eric finds her there because he runs into the same area. And she helps him get out. Okay. And so, but because she wasn't tired when she went in and she wasn't hungry or thirsty, she doesn't get tired, she doesn't get hungry, she doesn't get thirsty. But each and every single time someone gets stuck somewhere, she kind of through osmosis learns what they know. So in like finding Eric and helping him get out of this house, she gets up the courage to get out of the house herself and gets out of it. And then she's able to talk to Eric through cell phones and regular like home telephone. So basically through any phone that he has access to, she can talk to him. And she can still technically feel her parents. So like if she had aged with the time, she would have been like in her 50s, right? 40s or 50s. But she's still 13 because she got stuck on that other plane of existence. So she's actually free now, and she can go in between these different hidden places on this other plane of existence. And then the where the whole osmosis thing comes in, she can, anyone else who gets stuck in those places because they're like monster hunters or ghost hunters or just paranormal investigators, and they just go down the wrong path and get stuck, anything that they know, she then knows. She then finds out and can like relate to Eric, like, oh, yeah, I heard about this from so and so when I went to Tokyo or when I was in Australia. And the thing is, like, she kind of has a connection between her parents and also Eric. So while she's kind of in Eric's head a little bit, though she can give him like his privacy, and it'll be like a TV on in the other room with the volume turned down. So like if him and his wife are having adult sexy time, she can be like, okay, I'm leaving now. That kind of thing. While he can think at her and she can hear him thinking at her, it doesn't go the opposite way. In order for him to hear her, either voice or text, he needs to have a phone. So that's also what I like about this whole thing, is that it's kind of realistic. It's still like magical enough that it's different. But it's also like realistic. Like it's not like a Mary Sue type of thing going on. Like if that makes sense to you guys. So I just think this like really, really cool. And like, and the thing is like, what in the book, I think it's book two or three. I think book 2. When he first meets the witch's coven, they're getting hunted by someone, another magic user, and they're asking for his help. And there's occasionally times where he cannot help the people he is trying to help. And granted, like, we go into books and movies to have escapism. I also like the realism enough of, like, we tried to help these people and we couldn't. And being able to relate to those people is also a good thing in my brain. Like, because I'm like, if I were in his spot, I would want to help these people out too. And wanted to make sure that nothing bad happened to them. I would be just as devastated as him if I couldn't stop those things from happening. So eventually, like, because he eventually just has a wife, and he sends her text messages with pictures to prove, like, I'm not insane. I promise. I'm not crazy. I'm seeing these things. Then his brother, his nephew, his wife's best friend gets in on it. Then his niece, in the most recent one, I think, finally finds out what's going on. She kind of stumbles in on her dad and her uncle fighting a Wendigo, which is in the last book, the most recent one. Which I think there's going to be more because it's kind of intimated because it's Papa Geed, which let me see if I can find. Okay, so in one of the books, you find they find a young lady, and so her mom was a witch, and she's also a witch, but she kind of is more along the lines of like the voodoo type of thing, and she speaks with Papa Geed, who is a psychopomp, and per Google or per Wikipedia is it's spelled either Guede, Gu or with or without the dashes on top, or Ghede. They're a family of what is that? Spirits in the African diasporic religion of Haitian voodoo. So it's Haitian voodoo. So they're a family that embody the powers of death and fertility. So Papa Geed is the corpse of the first man who ever died. He is recognized as a short, dark man with a high hat on his head who likes to smoke cheap cigars and eat apples. So when you first meet Papa Geed, and she calls on him, the cigar smoke comes out. So, and then at the end of the most recent book, the young lady, I can't remember her name right now, but she goes, Papa Geed says to fix what you started. Like, you have to, because at the end of the book where they meet the young lady who has a connection with Papa Geed, like their whole group commit a karmic sin because they had to stop the end of the world. And they were like, is there any other way we can stop this without committing a karmic sin? And they were like, and they found out, nope, there's no other way we can do this. So that karmic sin is going to come back and bite them in the ass somehow. They're not sure when, they're not sure how, but it's going to come back for them.
Okay.
And so they have to fix it. They had to somehow fix it. So when Papa Geed says you have to finish what you started, you have to fix what you started, that's kind of what he means. And because Eric was about like 2 inches away from having to stay there and confine the father of all Wendigos back in its cell. And they helped to make it so that he wouldn't have to do that, because he has to fix what's coming. Eric's like, that makes sense. So, okay, thanks, guys. Yeah.
Alright, it's 2:00, so we should probably call it here so I'm not editing for days.
Okay.
So thanks for talking at me. Where's the...
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go eat.
Alright. Enjoy your food.
Happy holidays and a Merry New Year from all of us at the Super Happy Fun Jabbertron Tea Party Podcast with Kiki, Cupcake, and Miss. Stay safe and don't drink too much, my wonderful fellow internet beings.